Have you ever wondered what sets apart those who learn from their mistakes from those who don't? Do you feel overwhelmed by life's challenges? Do you sometimes see yourself as weak? What if you could turn your toughest experiences into powerful lessons that make you stronger? In Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn, John C. Maxwell delves into the mindset of winners. He explores how they think, feel, and act. By understanding this mindset, you can gain the essential skills to turn any challenge into an opportunity for self-improvement. This book will show you how to step out of your comfort zone and embrace life's new adventures with courage. Even if you stumble or fail, you will learn to accept your imperfections and find valuable lessons in every mistake. This way, you can feel like a winner even in the face of defeat. Join us in this journey as we explore how to transform every challenging situation into an opportunity and adopt a winner's mindset to achieve success. Stick with us till the end and discover how you can turn setbacks into stepping stones toward a more successful and fulfilling life. When you are losing, everything hurts. How you perceive your losses determines your mentality. Whether you have a mindset geared toward success or one prone to failure. Most people dislike discussing their failures because it highlights their weaknesses. They strive for success and new experiences, but are also mentally prepared for failure. When they fail, they quickly move on to something else. However, successful people think differently. They view their failures from a unique perspective. They believe that even if they fail, they will learn something new. In reality, we learn the most from our mistakes. People feel bad about failure because they think it means they can no longer progress or that they have lost. Most people view failure negatively. An article in Leadership magazine mentioned that many people who constantly chase success and cannot tolerate failure end up becoming alcoholics, sinking into depression, or, in extreme cases, attempting suicide. But we need to remember that we are human, not superhuman, and failure is just a part of life, nothing more. Making mistakes can change a person. Generally, this change is positive, but sometimes it can trap a person in fear and hesitation. Our perspective can make failure affect us positively or negatively. If you let your weaknesses dominate you, you will end up like a person trapped in a box, unable to do anything. But if you decide to learn and improve from your mistakes, you can turn your failures into victories. The author of this book, John C. Maxwell, has made several mistakes himself. One unforgettable mistake happened when he was carrying a gun in his briefcase. Once, John was giving a speech at a church in Birmingham, Alabama. When he finished, his friend Chris gave him a gun as a gift, saying it was for John's wife to keep for safety while he traveled. John didn't like guns, but he accepted it to please his friend. He placed the gun in his briefcase, and, since it was a short trip, he flew home on a private plane. For the next few days, John was busy preparing for another public speaking event and completely forgot about the gun in his briefcase. On the day of his travel, he passed through the airport's metal detector and suddenly remembered the gun. Before airport security could find it, John announced that he had a gun in his briefcase. Being a well-known figure, the airport staff recognized him. The security personnel apologized for having to handcuff him, as they were simply following standard procedure. John was fortunate that he was released quickly on bail, and the incident was removed from his record. When the news went public, John managed the situation by posting a humorous comment on his Twitter account. He was lucky that everyone took it as a funny experience. Some people even suggested he write his next book about airport security or carrying a gun. After this experience, John placed a note in his briefcase that read, Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Had John viewed this incident negatively, it could have ruined his career. But he chose to learn from his mistake, forget it, move forward, and continue on his path to success. Responsibility. The first step of learning. People often think they are only responsible for the tasks others assign to them, but they forget that taking responsibility is a decision that can change their entire life. Once you decide to take responsibility, it means you are ready to take action. If you make a mistake, you have two choices. Either blame someone else or take responsibility yourself. Your choice will determine what you get out of your failure. If you take responsibility, it means you are learning and growing. If you avoid responsibility for a long time, you will eventually develop a habit of playing the victim card. Many people live with this victim mentality and present themselves as helpless, believing they can't succeed due to external factors like the economy or traumatic childhood experiences. They blame society or discrimination for everything they can't achieve. Blaming others for your bad situations hands over control of your life to them. If you don't take responsibility for your actions, external factors will start controlling your life. Avoiding responsibility also means missing out on opportunities to learn and grow. To be successful, you need to learn and be flexible. If you are afraid of making mistakes and learning from them, you will never improve. Ted Williams was a homeless man who survived by begging. But one day, his life changed. He was standing by the roadside begging when a man showed him an old video of himself. In this video, Ted demonstrated incredible skills as a radio announcer. He was hosting a show with great expertise, showcasing his speaking skills and unique style that had once made him very popular. When this video was uploaded to YouTube, it went viral. Ted was invited to shows like The Today Show, Entertainment Tonight, and Dr. Phil. People might call it Ted's luck, but after hearing his story, you'll understand that Ted was a very hard-working person. Ted loved listening to the radio since childhood. He imitated radio announcers and practiced their speaking styles for hours. When he was in high school, a friend suggested he join the Army and become a communications specialist. However, since Ted couldn't type, he became a mechanic. He didn't like this job at all, so he started drinking. Gradually, he became addicted to alcohol, and his behavior got out of control. The Army eventually discharged him because of his conduct. Later, Ted worked at a radio station and got married. However, he continued drinking and started using cocaine. He became an addict, ruining his entire life. His marriage ended, he lost his job, and he became homeless, surviving by begging. After the YouTube video went viral, Ted decided to get his life back on track. He sought help from Dr. Phil, stayed in rehab, and overcame his addiction. Ted became a responsible person, free from all addictions. Ted's story teaches us that you can control your future. By taking responsibility for your life, you can shape it however you want. If you have a goal, you can achieve it. Even if it takes years, you need to stay determined, be patient, and be responsible. Improvement. The focus of learning. The first step toward improvement is working on yourself. Success cannot be achieved without self-growth. When you step out of your comfort zone and try something different, you acquire new skills and gain new experiences. This builds your courage to take risks. If you are thinking about improving, know that it takes time. Most people give up, not because they don't know how to be successful, but because they lose focus. They expect a sudden, significant change in their lives, but real improvement comes from taking small, consistent steps forward. The first step is to make a conscious decision that there is room for improvement within yourself. The second step is to choose an area to focus on. This area should be the most important for achieving your purpose and goals. Focus on improving this one area of your life every day. Before the internet, people got their current news from newspapers, radio, or television. Walter Cronkite was a news anchor on CBS. Every evening, people from around the world gathered to listen to him and watch the news on his channel. Walter is often called the father of television, and generations after him are grateful because they learned a lot from him. Walter did not achieve success overnight. Before becoming a television anchor, he was a newspaper reporter. His career as a football broadcaster began when he became a radio host at Oklahoma University. This experience taught him a lesson he never forgot. During his first broadcast, he didn't even know the names of the players because he was not a football fan. So, he tried to get help from someone else. When the game started, Walter realized that the person he was relying on didn't have much knowledge either. His broadcast was a disaster, and he learned that preparation and taking responsibility are the secrets to success. After that, he worked hard and memorized the names of all the players before the next game. He even gathered personal information about each player. After making that mistake and being embarrassed in front of everyone, Walter learned that to be perfect, you have to work hard to improve yourself. Hope, the motivation of learning. Hope is the source of motivation that we all need. During tough times, it gives you the strength to persevere. When you are exhausted, hope gives you the courage to keep going. Hope is the force that pushes you to go beyond your limits. It motivates you to overcome difficulties, makes you smile, provides answers to your questions, and leads you to victory. Without hope, you can never set goals or make plans for the future. A person can survive without food, water, or air for a while, but if you take away their hope, they might not be able to take even a single step. So how can you maintain hope in your life? First, remember that being hopeful is a choice. When you change your thinking and expect positive results from life, you will receive a lot of support. You can stay hopeful by setting and achieving small challenges. These small victories boost your energy. Jim Abbott was born with a physical disability. He didn't have a left hand. Like other parents, his parents had many dreams for him, but when they saw that he didn't have a left hand, they were very disappointed and felt hopeless. Jim played like any other child during his childhood. As he grew older, doctors suggested he get a prosthetic hand. His parents took him to the hospital, where he learned how to use the hook. However, his parents felt that he shouldn't stay there, so they brought him home. For the first time, they wished Jim could be different and successful. Jim loved sports. He played all kinds of outdoor sports with other children. Sometimes he came home saying he couldn't perform as well as the others, or that he was bullied. Despite this, his parents never stopped him from playing. They always encouraged him to go outside and play. His parents constantly boosted his confidence and pushed him to improve. In high school, Jim wanted to become a professional baseball player. He achieved a lot of success and played for the University of Michigan. He became an inspiration to many children like him. These children would come to him, write letters to him, and meet him with big smiles. Jim always talked about how his parents emphasized improvement. Sometimes he won, and sometimes he lost, but he never stopped. Everything was a bit difficult for him, but Jim kept moving forward with the help of hope. When Jim became successful, he became a beacon of hope for people like him. When you maintain hope, you can improve, and when you improve, you can become successful. When you become successful, you can contribute to society and become an example for others. Problems. Opportunities for learning. When you see a successful person, you might think, wow, they are so lucky. Maybe they didn't have to face the problems that are stopping you from achieving your dreams. But that's not entirely true. Often, successful people face even bigger challenges than we do, and how they deal with those problems determines whether they remain successful or fail. No one is exempt from problems. They are an inevitable part of life, so you can either face your problems and find a solution, or you can give up. Problems come in various sizes, but don't underestimate any problem based on its size. Sometimes, underestimating a problem leads to temporary solutions. If a permanent solution is not found, the problem will keep resurfacing. Always remember that no matter how big your problem is, you have the power to overcome it. To solve any problem, there are some steps you can take. First, always expect that problems will arise. This doesn't mean living in fear, but being ready for any problem makes you flexible. If a problem suddenly appears, you won't get nervous. Second, include others in the problem-solving process. When John was a church leader in California, he faced a significant problem. The church's location was bad, and the building was small and old. He suggested that the church members move to a new location. Initially, most people were not willing, but gradually they agreed. Since John had built churches before, he thought this would be easy, but it wasn't. He faced several problems simultaneously. Firstly, the church had financial problems. They needed $2 million to buy the land John wanted. Somehow, this problem was solved, but then environmental issues arose. When you want to build a new structure in California, you have to consult the environmental department first. After studying the location for a long time, the environmental department found that several bird species in that area were endangered. John had to wait at least 6 months for the birds' breeding period to end before construction could begin. This delayed all their plans. Then the church members found out that the government was planning to build a road through the same location, so they were forced to relocate their site. Another problem John and the church members faced was finding a black stone on their property. Upon investigation, they discovered it was a historical artifact from local people who lived there about 2,000 years ago. To solve this problem, John had to pay a large amount for archaeologists to excavate the historical piece. The problems didn't end there. Many more issues arose. It took 12 years for the church members to get approval from the county board, and only then did the building work start. By the time construction began, John had already stepped down from his position as the church leader. He later learned that even after he left, many more problems surfaced. Finally, after 17 years of hard work, patience, and determination, the new church was opened to the public. This story shows that any new endeavor can face many difficulties, but you will achieve success only if you know how to deal with these problems. Stop looking for shortcuts to easy success and quick money. By facing your problems, you can overcome any difficulty and become the hero of your story. Bad experiences. The perspective for learning. When life throws us into difficult situations, most of us feel completely helpless. We don't know what to do, and negative emotions cloud our judgment, making it hard to distinguish right from wrong. Without a clear solution in sight, we blame ourselves and end up making more mistakes. However, bad experiences are not always bad. They come to teach us something, offering us opportunities to improve. We must remember that we are human, and mistakes are inevitable. If we take life too seriously, we will never be happy. If you're trying to find a solution to a problem, Handle it with a positive attitude. Laughing at your mistakes is not a bad thing. Staying calm allows us to handle situations better and see them realistically. Maintaining the right perspective is crucial. Don't see yourself as a loser and never give up. Instead, think that whatever happened was for the best, at least giving you a chance to learn. Mistakes are not flaws. Thinking that they damage our self-image is our mistake. If you make a mistake, don't spend more than 24 hours dwelling on it. See it as an experience, forget it, and move forward. Solutions will become apparent only when you try to solve problems with a cool head. Think about the great inventors. They never saw their mistakes as failures, but as experiments. These inventors kept making mistakes and testing until they proved themselves right. They couldn't tolerate giving up because their focus was solely on success. In life, you will encounter two types of people, splatters and bouncers. Splatters are those who stay down after falling, while bouncers are those who fail but pick themselves up and bounce back. So, which one do you want to be? When you fail, it's usually due to a lack of knowledge. If you have decided to learn and improve, even if you fail next time, see it as another learning moment. Learn to turn your bad experiences into good ones. If you work hard, you can change your life as you wish. In the first chapter, we mentioned that John made a big mistake by accidentally taking a gun in his briefcase to the airport. But this time, he made an even bigger mistake. It was 2002, and John was on a tour in Africa to give speeches and attend several events. It was a big opportunity for him to finish his book, and John was very excited. He was about to complete his manuscript and was satisfied with the results. When John returned to the U.S., his son-in-law Steve picked him up from the airport. John was heading to Carolina to meet his daughter and wife. During the ride, John felt hungry and took out some food. Just as he was about to eat, he dropped his fork. He searched the car but couldn't find it. He asked Steve to stop the car. John got out and saw the fork near the briefcase. He picked it up and enjoyed his meal. Half an hour later, John realized his briefcase was missing. He began to search for it and remembered he had placed it outside on the road while looking for the fork. The thought of losing his briefcase made him panic because his book manuscript was inside it. John called a friend who lived nearby and asked her to look for the briefcase. She went there, but couldn't find it. John and Steve also returned to the location, but found nothing. They searched for hours, but to no avail. The problem was that John wrote in a notebook. He didn't like using a computer, so the manuscript in the briefcase was the only copy he had. By the next week, John had lost hope of ever finding his briefcase. The sad part was that he would have to rewrite the manuscript he had worked so hard on. It would take at least 6 months to rewrite, and even if he remembered everything, there was no guarantee that the second copy would be as good as the first. John was frustrated and upset, blaming himself for the loss. But his friend didn't lose hope. She believed the briefcase would be found. She kept calling the police station to inquire about the briefcase. Luckily, the police found it, and the manuscript inside was intact. If John had taken this experience positively, he might have called the police himself, but he gave up because he let his bad experience overwhelm him. He was fortunate to have a cool-headed friend who did what he should have done. Winning isn't everything, but learning is. A comic strip once told a funny story about a grandfather playing chess with his grandson. The grandfather kept winning, and the grandson pleaded for a chance to win just once. The grandfather replied, "If I let you win, you won't learn anything." To this, the child shouted, "I don't want to learn, I just want to win." This highlights a common mistake many people make in life. They want to achieve victory without learning because they have no interest in the learning process. People who achieve easy success never learn anything new. Some individuals get stuck after reaching a milestone. Instead of challenging themselves to think bigger and better, they become content with their achievements. They lose interest in discovering new things, believing they have achieved enough and can now rest. But the journey doesn't end after one victory. You should keep setting bigger goals and moving forward. The truth is, the energy boost you get from achieving success should push you to achieve even greater success, not take a break. After achieving success, some people focus more on boasting about their accomplishments and maintaining their self-image as winners. They fear losing their previous success more than they desire to achieve new ones. However, your hunger for victory should never end. Years ago, John met Jim Collins in Texas. Jim Collins, the author of popular books like Good to Great and How the Mighty Fall, was discussing leadership over dinner. At that time, the economy was doing well, and the unemployment rate was only 4%, meaning many people were thriving. Jim spoke about the dangers of complacency, the feeling of satisfaction that comes after achieving something big. This feeling can be dangerous because it stops you from taking on new challenges and improving yourself. Once successful, you may relax and stop pushing yourself. Bill Gates also believes that success is a lousy teacher. When people become successful, they think they have achieved everything and will never fail, so they feel they don't need to learn anything new. This mindset prevents them from trying new things. Have you ever wondered why lottery winners often end up losing all their money? It's because success is not just about acquiring something, it's about our mindset. You can only learn new things when you change the way you think. Never assume you know everything or have mastered a skill, because there is no limit to learning. There will always be something new to learn. Continuous improvement is necessary. By maintaining a positive mental attitude, you can grow and make the impossible possible. You will break the boundaries that hold back your potential. You have the ability to think creatively and out of the box. To progress in life, you must accept that you will lose some battles. It's essential to learn and improve. However, this doesn't mean taking huge risks. You can control your losses based on your strengths. By working on a skill you excel at, you can step out of your comfort zone and create something extraordinary. Even if you fail, don't get disheartened, because failure is also a learning experience. The more risks you take in areas where you feel you are the best, the stronger your chances of winning become. You need to find your own Mount Everest, the ultimate goal you must strive to reach. If you don't, you will end up with nothing but regret and disappointment. Think of every path as a school that can teach you many life lessons. Conclusion. Bad experiences are not always negative. It depends on your perspective and what you learn from those experiences. If you can change the way you approach life, everything will start to fall into place. In this summary, leader and public speaker John C. Maxwell has taught you many valuable lessons about winning and losing. First, you learned that losing is very painful. Whether you have a positive or negative mindset, failure hurts at first. However, you must remain strong and never let your fears take control of you. Second, you discovered that people often fail to learn from their failures because their ego and pride get in the way. To learn, one must be humble. Third, you learned that avoiding responsibilities is a negative habit that makes you a slave to circumstances. When you live with a victim mindset, external factors start to control you. You can only become a true winner when you take responsibility for every decision in your life. Fourth, you found out that the first step toward improvement is self-growth. You are the master of your own life. Working hard to improve yourself and maintaining positive habits is the secret to learning. Fifth, you understood that to stay motivated, you must always keep hope alive. If you think positively, you can face any challenge. Sixth, your perspective on problems determines their solution. If you see problems as opportunities for improvement, they won't seem as daunting. This mindset might even change your life. However, if you approach problems with a negative mindset, you'll remain stuck in the same limited circle without finding a solution. Finally, you learned that winning can sometimes be detrimental. Being successful can make you overconfident, preventing you from learning new things. Achieving success is not enough. You must always be ready to learn new skills, be creative, and try new experiences. Failure is the best teacher in life. It is only after failing that we understand which mistakes not to repeat. So, the next time you fail, smile and try again. Face the same challenge once more. Always remember, problems are what make you incredibly strong. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn by John C. Maxwell. If you found these insights valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more audiobook summaries. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more summaries of inspiring books. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember that every setback is a setup for a comeback.